where we discuss matters politics, matters governance, as well as state of the nation. I hope that you're feeling fantastic. We are well. Karibu sana, most definitely. And the comment section is very much open. Feel free to give us your opinions as well as your comments regarding the matters that we're going to be talking about, matters Kenya, matters politics, matters governance. And of course, as usual, we never fail to ask the question, who did what, where, when, and why, how, as well as how much more or less is going to be spent or is going to be incurred by the taxpayer. So I am joined by Emmanuel Bosire, who is our analyst and will help us analyze 1, 2, 3 stories that we are discussing right here on the K&A table. And of course, to our dear viewers, we are saying Happy Tree Planting Day. I don't know if we should start saying that all through. But Emmanuel, if I may ask, how many trees have you planted in your life?
I can't recall the exact number, but there are many trees.
There are many. Okay. Anyway, so today was National Tree Planting Day. Of course, in Kenya, you've seen different people in different parts of Kenya participate in tree planting, all get toward fight for climate change, of course, in the world, not only in Kenya. And in a day like this, I don't know, Emmanuel, is it a day that leaders are supposed to discuss political issues or to keep on throwing their manifestos left, right, and center? Because we've seen leaders from different regions today actually bring in matters politics when it comes to the tree planting, before we get into what they were actually talking about.
So if you are a strong believer of politics, any opportunities are opportunity to do politics. So you cannot get a golden opportunity, a congregation of people, and then tell them on the importance of planting trees. One, people know the importance of planting trees.
Yeah.
So you must play the software of politics by acting and doing politics. So that's why actually in Kenya, not Kenya, but politics generally, that wherever you get an opportunity, be it a small gathering, politics is whereby you have to play the modern politics where propaganda is being played as the main item in politics. So you get a small opportunity. First, dwell on, first you've seen even football events whereby Kenyan politicians go to watch a football match. And that football match turns out to be a political rally. You find out a congregation, maybe in the church. Politicians have come to the church to worship. And they say that we acknowledge the role of the church and we cannot do politics. The next statement, there'll be politics. So even for today, the tree planting events, politicians will always be politicians. In other words, monkeys will be monkeys, Sony forests that will be changing. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of politicians and forests that are not changing, of course, during the initiation of the National Tree Planting Day that is in Kenya, which happened in the Ukambani region, of course, we had the president as well as the deputy president flag off the event or flag off this particular holiday as per what was announced by the Interior CS. And aside from planting trees, of course, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, who seems to be a man full of praises to the president in each and every region that he steps in, actually took this opportunity or took this platform to urge the people in that particular region to actually side with the president or to actually hold the president's hand. And of course, this comes at a time where we had that is the Governor Mutua, Alfred Mutua, talking about Ruto going all the way to 2027, and that the only next person or the next person in presidency will come in 2032. But before we get into matters that, let's just listen to Gachagua during the National Tree Planting Day, and then we'll be right back.
Muyaseo yengi muyaine museo na mabinda onde nisalimiani kwa haya. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Bwana Yesu asifiwe tena. Watu ya Mkindu hamjambo? Nimuona Musumbe? Mumefurahi? Hata sisi tumefurahi kufika hapa. Unajua watu ya Makueni ni watu wamechanuka kwa sababu hii barabara ya highway inapitia hapa. Si mnajua kwa barabara iko mambo mingi. So tumekuja kuona vile mnakaa na rais wetu na tumefurahi sana. Lakini sasa nyinyi watu ya Makueni, nimuulize swali ama nisiulize? Nimuulize swali ama nimuulize? Sasa nyinyi ni watu wamechanuka. Najua Musumbe wetu Rais Ruto. Hawa watu na watu yetu ya Mount Kenya, we are cousins. Tunapendana sana sana. Hata kuoana tunaoana sana. Na biashara mnafanya vizuri. Kuaminika number 1. Bidii number 1. Lakini siku ya kujipanga wanafanyanga opposite ya sisi. Na mimi nataka nielewe nyinyi watu ya highway hii. Najua highway watu wanachanuka sana. Mwaka 2007 mkapanda maharagwe haikumea. 2013 mkapanda maharagwe haikumea. 2017 mkapanda haikumea. 2022 mkarudia hiyo maharagwe. Sasa hii maharagwe mtaendelea kupanda? Mtaendelea kupanda? Nyinyi mnasema mambo yenu ni ngapi? Water, maji na kewo. Sasa mwenye funguo ya hiyo mambo yenu matatu ni huyu Musumbe. Sasa nyinyi mkijipanga kule msituni mtasaidika namna gani? Si huyu ndio mwenye funguo ya hiyo mambo matatu? Si hiyo ndio maneno yenu? Si mjipange na huyu Musumbe. Kwani nini ngumu? Kujipanga tu. Si yako hapa. Ni kwani ni formula gani inatakikana? Iko rocket science. Sasa hiyo ndio mambo yenu matatu na tumekubaliana. Ya hapa, ya rais ni ingine 3. Mimi pia niko na yangu 3 ya kahawa na majani chai na maziwa. Kila watu wako na mambo yao mangapi? Yenu ni maji, water na Musumbe yako hapa. Sasa nini ingine mnataka? Sasa wewe Junior, wewe ni rafiki yangu. Your late father was my friend. Tulikuwa tunakaa na yeye na Rais Moi. You are one of the most progressive leaders in this country. Ambaye unaona mbele, akili iko sawa. Sasa wewe governor, si ukae karibu na huyu rais. Kaa karibu na huyu rais huyu. Ndio hii watu wafaidike, si ndio? Akae karibu na rais asikae. Akae karibu na rais asikae. Unajua ukitaka moto unaomba pahali iko, si ndio? Saa hii for now mpaka ile 32 mwenye maneno ni huyu. Si huyo ndio yako na maneno? Sasa miaka 9 mtakaa msituni. Mtakaa msituni miaka 9. Si muingie hapa hiyo miaka imebaki 9, kama mnataka kutoka baadaye mtoke. Alafu mnyonye hiyo mheshimiwa amesema. Kwani mtanyonya mkiwa msituni? Mtakaribia? Wangapi wanasema tuvuke rais mkono? Asante sana. Muko tayari tumkaribishe Musumbe? Na vigeregere na shangwe? Haya, 1 2 3.
So that was the politics that was happening in Makindu. Of course, the deputy president clearly rooting or urging these people to follow the president's footsteps or follow the president's side. And when we move to the western side of politics, we had Senate Kakamega Senator, that is Boni Khalwale, still during the tree planting day, talking about or telling the deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, to actually stay in his own lane and achane na mambo ama siasa ya sukari, what is currently happening, or the Mumias saga issue, and of which we saw it brought quite a lot, or started quite a lot during the weekend, putting Salasia in point where he was attacked because of the remarks that he made for the sugar sector. Now, we also had Boni Khalwale talk about 20, or stating that Rigathi Gachagua is not actually going to sort of inherit a presidency after William Ruto. Now,
telling people that you planted beans and these beans never germinated or made any progress. You know, this could be parabolic about the parable of the sower. You know, people can always be uh, planting good seed, but the harvest that's coming out is bad. So the bad, I don't know, the soil is Kenyans or the seed is Kalonzo, but actually the seed is votes that they have been planting for Kalonzo in opposition for long. But President or Deputy President must be aware of what's politics. You know, all Kenyans can never vote for a politician 100%. That can never happen. Nowhere in the world. And actually, that's why we have democracy. That's where the majority wins. So give room for the minority. They have reasons to us why they have stood with their own. And maybe their political affiliation and political ideologies differ with yours. So that's why maybe the people for Campania, for a long period, they have been in opposition together with the region of Nyanza. So talking about Kalonzo Musyoka to join the government so that they can get the benefits, that's a fallacy that they are trying to send to Kenyans. You know, again, with what we call about just to compare what's happening in the US, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. So in Kenya, we don't have that system. What we have been told that we have dynasties and we have the hustlers. So this propaganda of dynasties and hustlers is one that's even killing us far and far. So those who are ruling are dynasties. And then they want to tell us that they are ruling the hustlers, something that cannot work out. And then the politics that the deputy president is playing, this is the politics of trying to tell Kenyans on reasons why they should believe in the Kenya Kwanza leadership. You don't have to announce yourself every meeting that you go that, you know, I'm the best person, I'm the best politician, that who have the agenda of this country, that we are trying as much as possible to move our country to the next level. So to me, it seems that it's lack of an agenda. You know, when you first stick to your agenda and manifestos as Kenya Kwanza, and then Kenyans will have no option other than to follow your legacy. Just like what Mwai Kibaki did. Kenyans at first never believed in Mwai Kibaki. At first, what they wanted is that they wanted to remove Daniel Moi from leadership so that it can go back to Gikuyus. But when he delivered in his first term, coming the second term, Kenyans believed in his structure of administration, on how he had the agenda to improve Kenyans, on how he brought things that we've seen running, like the Thika superhighway. When Kenyans learned that even in Kenya we can have superhighways, is then we've seen other governors trying to emulate and bring these programs even to them. So for the deputy president, the second in command, telling people from Ukambani region that one of the reasons that you want to miss development is that Kalonzo Musyoka is still in opposition. This is one of the things that will make him to have what we call a regional imbalance as a country. So he does not have that figure of a deputy president, but he have that figure of selfishness and that one from Mount Kenya region. And then answering your second part, whereby the Western leaders are asking the deputy president to keep off the Mumias issue. To answer that, you know, it's very difficult to solve a problem that you yourself has brought. It's very difficult. If we go to history, one of the key people who made and buried Mumias sugar is President William Ruto. Ask me
Why?
So Kenyans know the history of Mumias, the scandals that Mumias has been having since it began. It cannot be solved at the moment when the same people who brought the same problems are in leadership. It's going to be very difficult. So talking about the Mumias region as politics as it's concerned, the self-proclaiming kingpins, they have been singing, this has been a song for long. Musalia Mudavadi sings the same song. Moses Wetangula sings the same song. Boni Alwale, all Western leaders are singing the same song. Why don't they call up a meeting among themselves? No, and before to answer then, this gives us a picture that politicians cannot lead Kenyans, or they don't have that full representations of the Kenyans' problem, but they have their own interests. So if they get their own interests with the Mumias sorted, they will keep quiet. They will not even involve Kenyans of Western region about the sugar. They cannot look for even, but when they get a share in corrupt deals and how to benefit from Mumias, and then they will be running up and down, telling people on the importance of having sugar. Not only in Mumias, we have the sugar, actually agriculture sector at large that involved industries, processing. It has a very big problem that needs to be sorted out. Yeah.
And of course, still speaking about matters, politics, matters, political wrangles, as well as some of the leaders participating in the goodness or the badness of the country. We go into the sector of, or we go to the side of Kenyans actually talking about or ranting about the Gazette notice that was issued earlier on last week about the increment in fees or service fees for different government services, one of them including the issuance of and replacement, of course, of ID cards. And in the spirit of planting trees again, we had the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga actually touch on these particular issues of the ID, stating that this is something they will have to discuss as part of the, or inclusive in the bipartisan talks. I don't know, is it that there was, of course, earlier on, there was an agenda that was set towards the bipartisan talks, right? Is it that any issue that comes up that is affecting Kenya can actually be added to be part of the talks? Because that is something that we are not understanding out here.
If you get people who understands the law and constitution,
No.
will just tell you about what bipartisan talks mean.
Mm-hmm.
So from the bigger picture, we can see that bipartisan talk is only a power blockage, and it's only a broken deal for deals either to go through or not to go through. One, if they agree, and then it's going to be acceptable. But again, it can be a building up for a constitutional amendment that will be seen very near. So first, we know that all policies that the government need to make, all the bills, there should be directed to Parliament.
No.
So we've not seen any member of Parliament taking this to Parliament and challenging the House on how these prices are going to be changed. And we live in a country whereby, I don't know, but Raila Odinga talked about this thing someday, and I've come to see sense that the presidency at large and the executive have taken the legislature imeshikwa. It's not really able to deliver on its mandate, because if the head of state says that they don't even need to debate about it, so you find out that the bill, the law forming process that used to take even 2 weeks, 2 months to being discussed upon the first reading and second reading. But today you find out that one day a bill is made into a law, and the next day you see it being in the Kenyan Gazette. So at this you find out that it's very challenging to MPs, those who are even in Kenya Kwanza, because if the head of state has said, let's do this. But I'm happy that some of the politicians from Kenya Kwanza have come out telling president that this one can wait, because first of all, other things are going up. Everything is up, and then adding up to the price of getting government services is going to even make them find it difficult. At the moment, there are leaders from Kenya Kwanza who cannot step their home grounds because of the political tension. And because of that, they've decided to remain in Nairobi. They have decided to look for travel so that they seem busy, so as to buy time for President William Ruto to slow down on taxes, and before they take a step. So they are waiting. You know, politicians are very keen. They wait for an opportunity. If they find out a better opportunity in opposition, they will rally behind opposition. But to me, bipartisan talks, it's not, nobody is, no, the constitution does not understand what bipartisan talks are. They don't. And first of all, bipartisan talks, the main agendas, they have been discussed. Almost there, it's now the report stage. And then you add up the talks on government services, it will not sum up.
But what's your take on, just on a light note, what's your take on the increment of government, of some of those government services?
One, I'll use Kiswahili to explain. Ya kwamba unapokuwa na ng'ombe ya kukamua, kuna ile kipimo inafika inakuambia kwa maziwa. So Kenyans are tired. You've overtaxed the Kenyans. Kenyans are crying up and down. High unemployment rates, high education fee, high poverty rates, and then on top you want to add high government services. So it's very, I can even lack words to explain. But you, from the take is that the government is overdoing injustice to Kenyans. They need to practice mercy to all Kenyans. So you, in as much you need money, why you every month you want to tap on every avenue that you find possible at the expense of poor Kenyans? They are not employed, business are not moving out, you are taxing everything. So to me, I cannot agree with it.
And of course, that is a matter that is still up for discussion, because the notice was suspended, or the move was actually suspended. But if you were to actually be involved, or through public participation, what is your take on the increment of some of these services? Collecting your passport, getting your passport, renewing your passport, replacing your ID card, as well as getting your ID card. Others include the birth certificate, of course. We have the issuance of visas, as well as a dual citizenship. What is your take vis-a-vis what was actually presented, or what was actually presented earlier on by the Interior CS? Now, moving on, still on matters bipartisan talks, of course, we had Kalonzo Musyoka discuss or talk about some of the issues that are ongoing in Kenya. One inclusive of course, the high cost of living, which is something major that Kenyans have been going through, as well as discussing, and also his reaction to the previous presidential address that was declaring the state of the nation, stating or showing displeasure in what was said earlier on. But then again, on top of that, he added that there are signatures that are required in order to finalize whatever is happening at the Bomas of Kenya in regards to the bipartisan talks, and that if there is not an agreement on matters cost of living, then that document is not going to be signed, and the deal or the dialogues are off. Let's just listen to Kalonzo Musyoka, and then we'll be right back.
Mwaseo sema nitakisema mwaseo ingesema mwaseo sema mwaseo asante. Basi mengi tumeyazungumza, tunasema asante kwa makaribisho. Cost of living, gharama ya maisha kuja chini, there is no deal. Si mumesema hiyo? Wangapi wanasema hiyo ndio msimamo wetu kabisa, so that we are very clear. In fact, tumeambiwa kama kuna document ya kuweka saini hatuwezi kuweka, na mimi this is very important. We have gone to the grassroots situation. Ama kuko naona nyenye huku kwenu, Mungu amewabariki sana. Naona kuna mvua, naona kuna ndizi, naona kuna mahindi, karibu mwavune. Mbona nyinyi mnalia njaa? Nyinyi mnalia njaa sio? Kwa nini mnalia njaa na chakula iko hiki? Kumbe ni kwa sababu hakuna hata ndururu kwa mfuko. Hii ndio sababu watu wanaweza kuwa na chakula, lakini hata kwenda kununua ile chakula kidogo, because mafahamisho na Senator Usosi. Mnavuna hii kwa sababu mashamba ni madogo madogo. mnavuna, mkivuna baada ya miezi mitatu imekwisha. Kaza kwenda lazima ukanunue chakula, sio? Kama una pesa utanunua na nini? Kwa hivyo gharama ya bei ya maisha. Nimesikia Mheshimiwa Ruto katika State of the Nation Address alisema gorogoro bei yake imeenda chini. Imeenda chini ama imeenda juu? Wangapi anasema gorogoro bado hajui? Hata huyu mheshimiwa hajui bei ya gorogoro. Wangapi anasema bado hakuna chochote ambacho kimefanyika? Hapo tuone kwa mkono. Kwa hivyo wale ambao ni advisors wa Mheshimiwa Ruto, msije kumpokonya, kumpotosha akili. Mnaandika pale amepiga simu, akapiga kule kwa Isabania, akampigia waria mwingine huko Garissa, na akasema mambo ya Hustler Fund. Kwanza Hustler Fund nafahamishwa tukutuku moja sio 700,000. Kwa hivyo kuna watu hapa wanataka kupotosha hata kiongozi wao. Tumekuja hapa sisi wanaazimio tukiongozwa na ndugu yetu Raila Odinga. Kwanza anatuma salamu zake. Wangapi anapokea salamu za baba hapa? Na kusema asante watu wa Vihiga. Hii ni ngome ya Azimio. Hii ni wazi kabisa. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka mjipigie makofi na mimi taongeza yangu hapo. Msimamo ni huo. Nataka niwaambie hivi. Mnajua mimi nimetembea Western na ndugu wao wawili. Hata kabla ya Paranya na Eugene Wamalwa, nitawaambia ukweli. Tulikuwa naenda na Weta, ndugu Weta. Akasema mundu kwa mundu. Tutaonana mundu kwa mundu. Kumbe alikuwa anasema Kalonzo tutaonana, lakini Ruto akija nimetoroka. Musalia mwenyewe ndugu yangu alikuwa anataka kuwa president. Tukiwa kwa One Kenya Alliance. Mkiwaona hawa ndugu wawili waulize, Kalonzo ameshangaa, nyinyi mulisalimu amri mapema namna hiyo, si mungekaa ngangari kama yeye angalau. Lakini nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu Mungu analeta wanaume ambao hawaogopi. Huyu Wycliffe Oparanya amefanywa hata mateso, anashikwa, anapelekwa sijui Integrity House kuhojiwa. Anasema hawezi kubadilisha nia, atakuwa strong kwa Azimio. Tumpigie makofi. Huyu jamaa huyu Eugene Wamalwa amenishangaza. Wakati wa maandamano ngari ambayo nilikuwa ndani yake na Eugene karibu tuwawe pale Mathare, ikapigwa tear gas, ikaingia kwa kioo ya nyuma, ikaanguka ndani, ikalipukia huko. I'm keeping it for my great grandchildren, waone how we survived an attempt kuua sisi viongozi wa Azimio. Sijui Eugene alitorokea pande gani, lakini mimi nilibaki kule karibu na kufa. Alafu nikitondasonga mbele nakuta Eugene ako juu kwa gari. Huyu, I think the stint you served as Minister for Defense ilikupa ujasiri wa ajabu sana. Kwa hivyo hawa nikapoteza ndugu wao wawili Musalia na Weta. Nikapata wajasiri wawili wengine hapa ambao waogopi, na kwa hivyo tuko tayari kusonga mbele kukomboa Kenya yetu hii. Kwa hivyo mimi na furaha sana. When you had Wycliffe, nilikukorofu, nikuletea fitina nyingi sana. Nikamwambia nikitoka hapa lazima nikakule chapati Mbutere. Kwa sababu huyu bwana bibi zake anajua kutengeneza ile chapati ya ajabu. So tuko nyumbani na tutarudi nyuma. Swala la pili, umesikia juu ya ripoti hiyo ambayo tukienda kuandika kuanzia kesho, if it doesn't meet the expectations of the Kenyan people, hata ilete kwa bunge, because without our signing haitakuja kwa bunge. Ni wazi, tusipoweka sahihi hawezi kwenda kwa Sifuna. Sifuna amesema yeye ni Muluya kabisa, na kama kuna mwanaume akili timamu anaweza kuongea na dunia nzima ikaheshimu msimamo wa Mluya, anaitwa Edwin Sifuna, seneta wa Nairobi, ni yule kijana. Yani huyo, I used to really think, ilikuwa anasema hata You know, you used to call us na kinaweta majina. You were right. I think you were right. Yeah, sema ni lichis sijui nini tukakasirika, but he is a man of principle. Kwa hivyo watu wa Western, msije hapa watu wameishiwa na akili. Juzi wanasema watakuja sasa, kwa maana kule kwa mlima kumeanza kuporomoka. Wanaenda kuleta story nyingine ya Ladwa, na kama kuna general wa Azimio Kenya hii anaitwa George Ladwa. Mimi yule Nairobi ni Ladwa. Kama hujui Nairobi ni Ladwa, and if Ladwa decides to come home, mambo itakuwa tofauti kabisa. Nairobi tutabaki na nani sasa kule? George Ladwa, you know the truth, kwamba mlima wameleta sasa siasa hatari zaidi. Wameachana na hasla, wanaleta ukabila mwingine mbaya wa Nilos versus Bantus. Yani wanasema sasa kule.
Yes, and that was, or that is Kalonzo Musyoka, of course, speaking on certain issues concerning Kenyans. Now, Emmanuel, I don't know, what are Kenyans' expectations as per what Kalonzo Musyoka is actually talking about, saying that if these discussions do not meet Kenyans' expectations, then they're not going to go forward with the signatures?
Kalonzo is never. He's always predictable. By this I mean Kenyans are able to see his next step even before himself decide. So by what we've seen, or by what he's trying to put across, is that the bipartisan talks might not go as the Azimio expected. So that's an early indication that's trying to give that our followers, things are not going to go as we early planned. So that's one prediction. And the second prediction that he might be sending through is that, Mr. Government, we know what you're planning to do with the bipartisan report, and by that we are aware and ready. So they are sending a warning to in one. First, they are sending warning to their followers that if the report comes, then they'll accept it. If it will be talking about the cost of living at addition of other seats. And another warning to the government is that if the government will not want to take care of the report, and our intentions as first agreed, and then they will have no option other than to come back to people and through demonstrations.
And most definitely, there's quite a lot that you can pick from Kalonzo Musyoka's remarks in regards to the current state of Kenya, as well as mentioning what is happening in Mount Kenya region. Of course, we are well aware of the meeting that is supposed to be convened in that particular region to try at least and unify the region, or to try and bring the region together, among other issues that we are discussing here as a country, all leaning towards reducing the cost of living in Kenya, as well as also there was a statement earlier on urging the president to actually reduce the number of projects that he's actually doing in order to ensure that, or in order to see fulfillment or to see accomplishment of different, of course, products or different projects that he's doing out here. Just a parting shot as we wind up from you, Emmanuel Bosire. 2027, of course, we had the likes of the CS that stated earlier on, Alfred Mutua, talk about Kalonzo Musyoka having to step aside or to hold it down on this other side, because the current president is actually going to serve 2 terms as he promised Kenyans. And then on this other side, we're seeing the likes of Boni Khalwale talking about once the president is out, the next person in line is actually supposed to come, or is going to come, from the Western region. What are your reactions to that as we funga this session?
One of the things is that we as Kenyans, we've never accepted that we're Kenyans. Still, we are in Kenya, but in other regions. I'm in Kenya from Western. I'm in Kenya from Nyanza. I'm in Kenya from Central. Central have taken this for long. The Rift Valley have taken more than 50 years since independence. Now, and then when people from coast will also demand it. So we don't have a clear indication that people from Western, the constitution does not tell us that Now that this time there are people from Rift Valley holding office, and then next time we went to have, and then we lose that individual understanding of democracy. Now that we are changed in trusting and believing that democracy works, something that does not work. So the people from Central and the Rift Valley have taken leadership for long. So people trying to bring this maybe propaganda that people from other regions need to test this on, it can be, I will not be surprised. This thing will keep rotating among them. Will rotate from Central Rift Valley Central.
Yeah.
It will always keep that way. Until then, until God decides maybe to do changes, and until we have a revolution whereby we have someone leading Kenyans, not defined as from someone from Rift Valley. The moment we hear Simbarati comes from where? Kisi where? That one cannot make a leader. Where maybe Kalonzo Musyoka comes from, Ukambani, nini, that one cannot make a leader. People from Western, Raila Odinga was cast by his father. Ali Hassan Joho did this. We've not reached the point we really understand the modern day politics of accepting that whoever leads is a Kenyan. Despite where he comes from, he's a Kenyan. And if we cannot fail to get a leader from as a Kenyan picture, we can never then get a female leader. Because people will always be saying it's men against women. So we cannot near to have that. But again, people are planning about 2027. It's good. The leaders we've elected, they don't see us as Kenyans. They see us as voters. They don't see us as Kenyans who need development. They see us as voters who need to be enticed so that come 2027, they want to re-elect us. Gachagua is saying that Ruto is the best president to re-elect in 2027. In Mount Kenya region, I want to give 100%. He does not see us as Kenyans. He sees us as numbers to be voters. And that's why we will always be, the numbers for those turning out for voting will always be reducing. It will, even as we teach people on the importance of election, it will bear no fruit. People will not come out to vote. Because why should we vote? And for the past years we've been voting, we've never seen development. We've never seen that change. We've never seen that need for voting. And from what I know, majority of the educated people are the ones who don't vote. Majority of them don't vote. They rather stay at home and watch news who will win, and then things will move on. And if that's the way to go by, and then we will buy it, because we can't give you mandate and then you use that mandate against us. These same politicians that we were clapping hands for, they're same ones who are passing laws that are affecting our lives. Who passes laws? They're the same ones. The same politicians who we clap for during elections and climb their vehicles singing songs about them. They sang about hustler, anajua shida zetu. It's the same hustler humiliating what Kenyans expected about it. So 2027, if it comes, those who will vote, let them vote. But for those ones who don't vote, so long as life continues, Kenyans are tired.
Oh, and I don't know to our viewers if that is the same song that you are singing or if you're on the same page, but most definitely feel free to tell us your opinion as well as your comment on the comment section below. It has been a graceful period of you keeping us company and allowing us to keep you company as well. Thank you so much for joining our discussion today on the Q&A table, and most definitely we're going to see you in the next session or in the next discussion. But from us to you, depending on whatever time you're watching this, we're saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.